Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 303 of Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. It is Monday, April 7th, 2025. And whew, wow. Happy New Year for those of us doing the 12-week year. Wow. Said yesterday I needed to buckle down, and that is what I did today. I did not anticipate still working at 7 p.m. I thought I had my schedule a little under control, but when you make plans, God laughs. One of those things. But if having kids has taught me anything, I was like type A, plan everything out, do that. It has taught me to be flexible. So, thank you to my children. You are wonderful, wonderful people, and you've taught me so much. And days like this is just validation that plans can be very frustrating. So we met our sales goal today, and that was good. It was a great way to welcome in the new year. And so I have a couple of things I want to talk about, but I'm going to try to stay on topic and break it up into several different reseller reflections. I'm just going to try to do one topic. I was so excited this morning. So I generally listen to a podcast or an audiobook on my way to the gym in the morning. And what popped up in my feed was Jay Shetty on purpose, super fan here, interviewing LIZZO. And I was like, oh, wow. I'm not one, if you listen, that follows pop culture or, mainstream things a whole heck of a lot. But I was like, LIZZO, she's kind of intriguing. She had a whole scandal. She's just very interesting. So, and I really enjoy some of her music. So I was just like really pumped to listen to this and got some things out of it. But the whole time, and it's really, I am linking it up for you. I would recommend listening to it, even if you don't agree with a lot of what she's saying. There are some awesome points there. She does in the beginning, bear with me if you're not into this, get into astrology and things like that, which, for me is kind of woo woo. But I appreciated her explanation of it and how she uses that to her advantage and for her growth. So if you cannot judge and just get past that, there's stuff. All right. So anyway, as I was listening to it, there's something I'm going to talk about tomorrow, which has to do with kindness, which I had never heard before. The other thing that the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm thinking about validation and my journey with validation, maybe your journey with validation, and how we seek it from external sources and how damaging that can be to be dependent on someone else or something else to validate you, whether it could be a person, it could be your partner, it could be money, it could be, there's all sorts of external validation, and how damaging that can be if we're depending on that and we're not able to provide that for ourselves. And this was something that absolutely I learned the hard way. You got to learn things I have to learn things the hard way, because that way it's really hammered home. So being able to self-validate, I kept looking for validation and looking for validation from my partner. And, it didn't matter. Whatever I did was not, it was not good enough. The bar would always be a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit higher, or just not good enough. And at some point, I I had enough, and I just said, "Well, wait, why am I even doing this? This doesn't even make sense. Why I don't need somebody else's validation. Like, I'm proud of what I did. I'm happy with what I did. Why would I need to be validated by someone else's idea of success?" And that was a real turning point for me, was to be able to do that. Now, I may be somewhat dangerous now, not needing a whole lot of external validation. Sometimes I can get a little off the rails, but the the difference that has made. And I find it challenged all the time, right? Like when we're on social media, I'm obviously doing these reseller reflections. You know de- I don't want to say depend. I enjoy your feedback, I enjoy the comments, but when you put yourself out there like that, you have to do it for yourself. And you have to be able to validate yourself, because there will be plenty of people when you put yourself out there that will be more than happy to make negative comments or be not supportive, or give you a thumbs down, and those things. That's going to happen. But if you can get to a point where it doesn't matter, it doesn't hurt, even like, let's say we're resellers, right? We're selling something, we get negative feedback, we get a difficult customer, but we know we did a good job. It'll affect you a lot less. And this is a very common scenario for all of us. Like, a lot of times we take it personally. We've had, and I've done it in the beginning, I've absolutely done it, where I just spiraled for days about a difficult customer or difficult situation or some feedback I got that just really wasn't warranted. And, just to be able to say, you know what, I did the best I could. I did a good job. I'm happy with what I did, and handle it with grace, is so liberating. Yes, to not let that get under your skin. So that's what I took out of when I was listening to this. And she goes through, and it was a lot about the process of being able to, look internally and validate herself. And I just loved that. Um, yeah, so those are my thoughts on validation. I don't know where you are on the journey with it. It is a constant struggle, especially when you put yourself out there, when you're dealing with the public. If you have a YouTube channel, if you're talking to other people, if you are on social media, check yourself for a minute. Are you looking to see how many likes you got on a video you did, and does it change the way you feel about it? I think that's probably a pretty good measure. Like, we all look at a lot of us probably do social media. We do reels and shorts, things on posts on Facebook, and we're looking for likes, and to see how the audience responded. And in our here with C chats, one of the things we always joke about is the ones we like the least are the ones that people like the most. And some of the, even here on YouTube, some of the episodes that we are most proud of and we poured our heart and soul into and we just love are some of the least popular. They have the least views or the least thumbs up. And it shouldn't change the way I feel about something that I've put out to the world, somebody else's feedback. That is kind of looking for validation. And I have found myself, if I do a reel or a short and I'm like, well, gosh, I guess it wasn't good. No, no, I think that is, I'm changing. Like, I thought it was good, changed my opinion because of what other people thought and because I'm seeking external validation. So kind of check yourself. Like, if you find yourself on social media looking at that, or if you find yourself spiraling because of an unwarranted feedback or customer, check yourself. See if you can provide yourself that validation, and maybe stop, think, and why is it getting to you so much? All right. Those are my thoughts on validation. And one of the ways you can validate yourself and your workspace and feel good about what you've done, you don't need anybody else to tell you, hey, you did a good job. You reset to zero. You got ready for the next day. And these are the people that are doing just that. Jill of Rusted Truck Relics, Jason the Santee Swapper, Judith R, Pam of Whimsy and Such, Becky of Becky Consigns, Lee of Lee Phillips 4191, Vanessa the Diabetic Reseller, Mr. C Chats, and Molly. All right, guys, keep it up. And remember, pat yourself on the back and feel good about it. Nobody else needs to feel good about it but you. All right. Have a great night. I will see you on day 304 of Reseller Reflections. Night, night.